Hi! Hello everyone! I am your teacher in here. You can call me Miss Hanna. So, welcome to our business English class. So, this course in Tutor English course is about the courses who ever want to learn English for specific purpose. So I am your teacher for business and management in English. So we are going to learn about job interviews. Okay, before we start our lesson, I am going to ask you something about how are you doing now? Okay, before we start this lesson, I want you to make sure that you are in a good feeling, so you can follow this lesson very well and you can understand what I will give the materials to you, and I explained about the materials so you can understand and apply the lessons in real life. Okay, before we start our lesson, I want you to know that in my class I have 3 points that you need to know. For the first one, this is an English class, so you know that we should use English in my class. Okay, even if it's online, you watch this online, but you need to speak in English. You have to try. Okay, you need to try your English, you need to practice your English so you can improve it. Okay, for the second, at the end of this lesson, I will give you some worksheets or assignments that you need to do, because it is very important to you to know how well you understand the lesson that I have given to you. Okay, for the third one, please like, comment, and subscribe my channel so you can receive many notifications that I will give you if I upload new video about English. Okay, let's start our lesson. Okay, we are going to talk about job interviews. Have you ever applied a job and then when the administration's steps for the selections for the administrations, you are selected to do the job interview, so you need to prepare yourself well to do the job interview. Have you ever did that? Have you ever done that? Have you ever applied a job interview? I think some of you have applied some job interview, but unfortunately you are not selected. You are not selected for that because maybe you have a bad English, or your English is not enough to your English skills. I mean your English skills is not enough to be in that position, or your another skills, or you have not prepared well for the interview, so you get nervous, you got something like you blank, your brain was blank when you do the interview, and that is the reason why you are not selected. Okay, we will learn about this today, about the job interviews. I want you to before we jump into the main lesson, Do you know about job interview before we talk about job interview? Okay, you must know about job interview because in business it's not a rare thing, it's a common thing that we have known. Also in occupation, when we want to get a job, we need to follow the job interview so we can get the job if we are selected for the positions that we apply. Okay, for the first, I want to ask you about something about job interview. Okay, I have 5 questions. For number 1, what do you know about job interview? You can comment in the comment section below this video. I want you to know if you are following my class. Okay, for the second, have you ever applied a job interview? Okay, for the third one, what do you know about employee, employer, and applicant? Okay, for the fourth, after doing a job interview, what will you do after that? Okay, last question. What are the questions that is hard enough to you to answer? Or maybe the strengths or weakness or anything that you think that it is hard for you to answer while you're doing the job interview. You can answer it in the comment section below because I really want to know what you think about job interview before you start this lesson. Okay, next, I will explain you about job interview briefly so you can know about a little about job interview. A job interview is an interview consisting of a conversation between a job applicant and a representative of an employer, which is conducted to assess whether the applicant should be hired. So a job interview is an activity. This is an activity when an employer hires some applicants to give the positions in their company or in their restaurant, in their schools, many of them, like in banker or in business or in something like which it needs some people who have good skills, who have proper skills to do the job. So an employer needs someone or 2 or more people to do some works in their company or in their office work to do the job because they don't have enough worker in their company or their office or their schools or anything, any place, wherever they are. Okay, so if you know that job interview has 3 processes, let me mention you. The first one is pre-interview. The pre-interview phase encompasses the information available to the interviewer beforehand, such as resumes, test scores, social networking site information, and the perceptions interviewers form about applicants from this information prior to the actual face-to-face interaction between the two individuals. In this phase, interviewers are likely to already have ideas about the characteristics that will make a person ideal or qualified for the first position. So, before we do the job interview, so you already know that before we do a job interview, we have to apply it by sending our our CV. Our CV, or like the some letter or an email to apply the job. It can be sent by an email, or it can be sent by mail, like post, like with a post, if you do it by offline, or if you do it by online, you can send with an email. Okay, the pre-interview. So this phase is ask you to follow the instructions if a company opens a job hiring, and they need some people who are qualified with the qualifications that they already gave to when the, like, in a flyer or brochure, when they need someone to be in that positions, they put the qualifications, and if someone is qualified for that positions, they apply it and they send their CV, and they wait if they are qualified for the administrations, and they will do the job interview. So, for example, in business and management, you can hire someone, or your new worker. You hire them if you give the qualifications, like okay, if you give the qualifications, like they have their background, like which university they are graduated, or which department, or maybe you need someone who is graduated from management and business department, or someone who has experience in business and management for at least 1 year, or you can hire someone who has some specific skills like English, or leadership skills, managing skills, multitasking skills, or anything else. You can ask them if you need. You can make it that you really need that someone. You need a fast person who work fast. You need a person who is punctual. You don't like someone who is always being late. You don't like that. Okay, that's all about the pre-interview. Okay, next, the interview phase. It entails the actual conduct of the interview, the interaction between the interviewer and the applicant. Initial interviewer impressions about the applicant before the interview may influence the amount of time an interviewer spends in the interview with the applicant. The interviewer's behavior and questioning of the applicant, and the interviewer's post-interview evaluations. Pre-interview impressions can also affect what the interviewer notices about the interviewee, recalls from the interview, and how an interviewer interprets what the applicant says and does in the interview. Okay, so in the interview phase, this is a face-to-face activity, a face-to-face interview when the employer wants to know more about the applicant, what they are able to do in the employer's company or the employer's office, about anything. They will ask anything to the applicant, so they want to know more about the characteristics, the personality, the skills, and what they can do in their company. Okay, because they can see it from how they dress, how they behave while doing the interview. They really take it in details. Okay, after that is the post interview. In the post interview, the interview is conducted. The interviewer must form an evaluation of the interviewee's qualifications for the position. The interviewer most likely takes into consideration all of the information, even from the pre-interview phase, and integrates it to form a post-interview evaluation of the applicant. In the final stage of the interview process, the interviewer uses his or her evaluations of the candidate. So this is the phase where the employer has to make the final decision if the applicant is selected or not, or they need another person, another people, or they will hire again. They will choose the right persons to get the job. This is very selective. Okay, in the post interview also, the employer examines about the pre-interview phase, like the CV that they have given to them and their interview activity, how they answer their questions, how they talk, how they speak, how they dress, how they behave, so all of them. Okay, next we are going to talk about types of interview questions. Okay, for the first type is common interview questions. For example, I will read it for you. Tell us about yourself. What are your strengths? What are your strengths and weaknesses? Why do you leave your current job? Okay, the third question is when you want to leave your current job and you want to hire a new job. So they need to ask the reasons of it. Okay, so for the second type is competency questions. So this is about the skills of the applicants or the knowledge they have, anything about that is related to the competence that they have. Okay, for example, tell me about a time you had to work as a team. Okay, you know that this is a soft skills. It can be about leadership skills or work in team. For the second, tell me about a time you had to use your creativity to solve a problem. Okay, every company needs this type of person who is creative. For the next, the third type is when you prepare a job interview, please read the job description carefully for the required skills and abilities and try to recall situations where you had to use these skills. Okay, for the example, the situations. Give details about the context of your example, what you were trying to do. So when the employer asks you about a problem and how do you solve it, you create your solutions and explain them in details. Okay, the task. Describe your responsibilities and the challenges that you have faced before. It will uh, be your something which is good for you, like the additional score for you that you have for the employer, so they think that you are qualified for the job. And the action, describe what steps you took to deal with the situation. Result, talk about the end result and how you contributed to this outcome. And avoid going in unprepared and having to think up examples. Like if you don't prepare, like when the situations that they have given to you, but you don't know what to answer, please don't answer about that, because it will make it's like the minus score for you. Okay, for the third type is hypothetical questions. For example, what would you do if you had a different opinion about your boss about how to do something? How would you deal with a large volume of work with several staff members of work? What would you do if you had to introduce a new policy that you knew was going to be unpopular in your team? Okay, I will read the detail about the hypothetical interview. These questions are similar to competency questions, so this sounds familiar, or this sounds similar with the previous questions, which is competency questions, except that instead of asking you to talk about an experience you've had in the past. So, but the difference is in hypothetical is not does not talk about the experience that you have in the past. Okay, it is about the hypothesis, like if you have a situation, what would you do, what will you do with your boss, and it's not a real situation, but just in case situations. So you need to answer with the possibility if you face that situation, if you are accepted in that position. Okay, for the last part is job interview etiquette. You already know about the etiquette in business, so in job interview has also some etiquettes that you need to know. Okay, etiquette is the very important thing when you do a job interview, so you have not to ignore this one because this is very important. Okay, point number 1, don't be late, but don't be too early. Not all people don't like uh, waiting, they don't like wait, then don't like to wait, because waiting is very boring, if you are late, if you are being late when you do a job interview, you are in the blacklist already. Okay, but don't be too early, because it can make the employers to uh to to like push up their activity, like their process, so it can make them to have rush to get the place that you already there. Okay, for the second, dress well to impress. Number 3, know their name. Number 4, practice your handshake. Number 5, have a drink. If you are thirsty, it's better to you to have a drink before you do an interview. Number 6, turn off your mobile phone. Number 7, body language. Number 8, always be prepared. Number 9, show gratitude. Okay, so I am going to show you a short video about job interview. I would like to ask you to analyze the job interview conversation between two people, which is the one is employer and the second one is the applicant. So you have to analyze it, what is inside them, what is inside the conversations. If they have the questions that are asked to the applicants, you can know what types it is classified to the types of questions in job interview. Okay, you can watch the video here.
Hi guys, today, I'm attending an interview. Wish me luck. Let's get started. Good afternoon, I am here for my interview. Good afternoon, I am here for my interview.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dwight. Nice to meet you. Good afternoon, Mr. Dwight. Nice to meet you. Can you tell me about yourself? Can you tell me about yourself?
Sure. I grew up in Japan, and studied economics. Sure. I grew up in Japan, and studied economics. I like cooking, and playing basketball. I like cooking, and playing basketball. I am an easygoing person. I am an easygoing person. I can work well with everyone. I can work well with everyone. I am a hard worker. I am a hard worker. I like challenging myself to improve at everything I do. I like challenging myself to improve at everything I do.
You said you grew up in Japan. I'm guessing you know Japanese. You said you grew up in Japan. I'm guessing you know Japanese.
I'm fluent in Japanese, Spanish, French, and Russian. I'm fluent in Japanese, Spanish, French, and Russian.
That's great. That's great. What are you good at? What are you good at? What are your strengths? What are your strengths?
I'd say I'm definitely good at pulling people together to accomplish a task. I'd say I'm definitely good at pulling people together to accomplish a task. Also, people say that I'm really good at attention to detail. Also, People say that I'm really good at attention to detail.
What are you not good at? What are you not good at? What are your weaknesses? What are your weaknesses?
I'm a little impatient sometimes. I'm a little impatient sometimes. I can make sudden decisions. I can make sudden decisions.
Thank you, Mr. Dwight. Expect a call from us tomorrow. Thank you, Mr. Dwight. Expect a call from us tomorrow.
Thank you, have a nice day. Thank you, have a nice day.
Okay, after you watch the video, I want to ask you, what did you find in the job interview short video? Like the things that you found. Okay, what did you find in the job interview video? You can write it on the comment section below because I want to know how well you understand the video after you learn the materials from me. Okay, so after you watch the video, I want you to find another conversation, but it is a written conversation that you can get from the internet about job interview. I want you to analyze the language features that you can find in the conversation, and you can make it like the learning material, like the process, like the questions type, and asking and the responses of the applicants. Everything you need, everything you want to write about the job interview conversation, you can write them all in your paper, of course. But if you want to share with me in the comment section, okay, please, I will really appreciate your effort. Okay, that's about the conversation that you need to take from the another conversation. Okay, after you find the different conversation, I'm asking you to find the differences of the English usage, like the language features. What's the difference between the short video or with the conversation that you find on the internet? And after that, I want you to create your own conversation about job interview. I want you to know, I want to see that you have already understood about my materials that I have given to you. Okay. Okay. For the task that I have to give you is you practice the job interview conversation that you have written before, and you can make it into a video. Of course, you can send it to my G drive. I will share the link to you here, down here. You can see, okay? Okay, before that I will explain you about something about the conversation about job interview. Okay, so that's all about my teaching material for you about job interviews. I hope this material can be applied in your real life, because job interview is really important if you want to get a new job. Okay, if you want to get a job after you graduate from your university or college, because everyone needs a job. Okay, I know that. Okay, I will give you some exercises that you need to do. This is a post test. Okay, I will give the correction for you if you want to know about your scores. Okay, the link is below in the description box, and you can answer it honestly. Okay, and after that you can send it to my email, or send it to my G drive, or anything you want to send. It's all as you wish. Okay, thank you for watching. Okay, this is about job interview that you want to know. If you want to do a job interview, there are some important things that you need to know about job interview, and this video is really for you. Okay, for the next material I am going to post about business meetings with video conference. Okay, what's the etiquette in doing conference, or the communication skills in video conference. I will explain all of it to you in the next video. Okay, thank you for watching, and I hope you get understood the materials that I have explained in this video, and I hope you do the post test, because I really want to know how well you understood my lessons. Okay, thank you for watching. Goodbye. See you in the next video.